What's going on, guys? Kyger here. Already did the class breakdown for March 2025. Now let's do the fairies. Let's jump into it.
반드시 돌아오게 하겠어.
더 이상 하수인만으로 남지 않아. 이제부턴 나를 위하여 오로지 나만 깨어있을 뿐.
멈춰.
모두들
절대.
후회? 하, 네가 누구랑 얘기하는 줄은 아는 거야?
Okay, guys, this list is getting pretty filled up now that we're at 48 SSR fairies. Pretty wild. I had the question the other day, how many did the game start with? And that's going to be all the Gen 1 fairies, your Primrose, Candok, stuff like that. The Gen 2 fairies, which would be, where's it at? Regular Chestnut Rose, Hydreiga, Balloon Flower, and Marigold. And then what is labeled in the game for, on day 3 is Twin Lotus, and then actually on the S servers, which was the first version of the game, I think it was close to 2 weeks in, you would have a Licorice banner. And as we know, a lot more have been added to the game. So we started with 10 SSRs, and now we have 48, which is pretty wild. But let's jump into the tier list. This is going to be the PvE one, and then we'll do the PvP one. There have been some shakeups, but not many. If you want to check it out, either screenshot here or check out on the resources channel on my Discord. They're in the pinned messages, as you see. But let me make that bigger and make this so you guys can see it just fine. Okay. Nope, make that a bit smaller. There we go. Alright, guys, so starting up here, we have Snakeberry does the increased damage for the next fairy used when you swap, either when you swap to her team or out of her team, as well as if you have her high enough stars, she will also give herself that same buff. Immaculate in PvE, Twin Lotus gives you huge PvE bonus damage, and Gypsophilia does the Starlight. The first, I think it's first 2 or first 3 are just some bonus stats, but as you go above that, 4 through 7 actually give you bonuses like cooldown, can't be CC to break you out of CC, stuff like this. Fire, we have Winter Cherry. She's older now, but no other fairy does what Winter Cherry does. Gives them the weakness to her element, as well as bonus damage to things weak to that element. 30% is wild. Then the next two are kind of tied here. SP Chestnut Rose and Hydreiga Flames are both here primarily because of their damage output. The shield doesn't generally matter in PvE. If you're at a certain level, you are clearing it with no problem, so her shield doesn't generally matter. And Hydreiga Flames, the anti-dodge, doesn't generally matter in PvE. I would, depending on what you're doing, if you're trying to go higher tiers on things like Path of Fire, Chestnut Rose will be better because of that shield. But if you're trying to do clear things at X amount of time, then Hydreiga Flames will be better because its ability is a bit quicker. Here at Wind, we have Tranquil Balloon Flower for that cooldown and the The knockup for her ability doesn't really matter, but that cooldown is ridiculous. Camellia actually ends up being a lot stronger than you would think, because a lot of these bosses are immune to knockup or knockback. So her ability says if they are not knocked up or knocked back, you get damage increase, so she can actually be very, very good. Then we have Blue Rose right here, which gives you damage if you're high HP and reduced damage coming in if you're at low HP, as well as if her stars are high enough, she will heal you based on damage done. Very, very powerful in PvE on all fronts for water. Calamus, very powerful as well, does the damage. The stacks don't really matter, but you're primarily stacking up the stack so you get bonus damage increase. And then Gardenia is basically here for her utility and her passive, giving you that HP to attack bonus. Earth, we have, this is where you'll see the first changes. Foxglove went down. I'm not going to remember all the individual changes, but I made them myself. So if you have any questions, ask them down below. Earth Hydreiga does have that damage increase. Tulip has the gamble, which is a totally separate thing. So you can have a elemental damage increase plus a gamble plus an attack increase, and all these different bonuses stack up. Then we have Birds of Paradise. Her damage looks a little bit less than most, but it hits multiple times, which makes it a bit better. Down here into the A tier, Milim doesn't... the cannot move aspect doesn't generally matter in PvE. It can against some wave-based stuff, but she's generally here for when you cast it, your next fairies deal bonus damage, very similar to Snakeberry, but a bit less, as well as gives you an attack boost. And when you swap, she does an AoE damage to everybody. Urza, her ability is pretty quick, as well as whatever class you're on should be your primary damage dealer, and it'll give you class damage increase. Natsu, right here, the main difference while he is separated from Anathria, Anathria's big thing is the cannot heal effect, which generally doesn't matter in PvE, but Natsu is able to do the execute damage at a higher percentage, which is better in PvE. Ixoria, we'll talk about her for PvP, but in PvE, just gives you another pay HP for attack, just like the Chestnut Rose SP does. Balloon Flower, pull them in, defense down, very, very powerful. Ikoria does enough damage, as well as gives you that anti-death if that's an issue for you. Foxglove, if you have a barrier, which you should with Priest, it gives you a bonus crit, which also goes with Star Blessing. It's just a really nice combo there for a bunch of extra crit. And then Carnation, if you have level 5 or higher. Earth Echo, it will allow her to stack a road very, very quickly. She can max it out on her own. Down here in the B tier, Laurel, his tracking doesn't really matter in PvE, but his damage is high enough to be up here. Sakura, her stun doesn't generally matter, but she is the only holy that has a defense down, which puts her here. And then we have Hibiscus, gives you that AoE healing as well as AoE damage, which is enough to be up here. You could argue she could be down in C, but I believe she's enough to be up here in B. Base Chestnut Rose has the weakness to fire increase, which 30% is a lot. Anathria, the execute damage is still execute damage, especially against high HP things like Guild Boss. They are at that 60% for a long while, so you'll be able to cast it a couple times. Almond Blossom has the bonus effects, as well as the damage is just enough to be up here. Little Femboy right here. Hyacinth, I always mess up his name, has the cooldown, which is enough to be here for wind. Viola really shows you where we're at for PvE water units. And Daisy, we could argue could be up in A, but it takes a while to start stacking up the kind of slime reflect damage, even though they do ignore defense and they do burning damage, which is very powerful, but it's a bit longer than I would like. Butterfly Orchid, the shield doesn't generally matter, but could depending on if you're trying to push content or not, as well as her damage just puts her here. The cannot move part doesn't generally matter. Licorice, AoE damage, her just flat damage is enough to be up here in B tier, but she's slow, the ability takes a long time, and you have to do the full effect to get all the damage out of it. Diablo and Rose, roughly the same thing. Diablo is more single target, Rose is more AoE. Wendy, I really wish she had more damage increase, but she's here. Lavender gives them not water weakness, but gives them damage taken increase, as well as when you do enough damage to make that sleep wake up, it does bonus damage. Lotus and Hydreiga both do really similar things. The main difference is the speed of the skill, as well as what CC. One does a silence, one does a pull in, one does a defense up, things like this. Marigold does do that weakness to earth increase, but the ability is just way too slow. Mistletoe, the moving out, stunning thing doesn't matter in PvE. The healing, I guess, could mean something. Rimuru, there's not very many things Rimuru can eat in PvE, but when you can, few and far between, it's okay. Dahlia giving you HP, steal rate, whatever. Camellia does high just flat damage, but the knockup doesn't matter in PvE. Dandelion, even in her own game mode, like Wind Elemental Realm, things are moving around, and this one line isn't going to matter a whole lot. Eldawise, stopping them from getting buffs doesn't generally matter. Candok is Candok, and Primrose is pretty slow, and the damage taken decrease doesn't generally matter in PvE. Now getting on to PvP. Alright, blow it up, make sure you guys can see it just fine. That looks good. So starting up here with Urza, really it's a 1A 1B conversation right here. Both of them are deserving of the top spot. Urza is a pretty quick ability, so is Snakeberry. Urza gives your class bonus damage, which definitely gives her the edge in things like Top League. Top League, she's number 1. But in other aspects, Snakeberry gives her and another fairy bonus damage, which just if you're just trying to nuke someone with 2 fairies, she's going to be best in slot. Urza is more like a 1v1, I think I would say. Both of them are deserving of 1A, 1B conversation. Milim, stopping them from move, very, very good. Increasing your attack, increasing damage received from fairies, powerful. And then the swap, slowing them down, is very good in PvP. Hydreiga Flames, anti-dodge, quick ability, very, very good. Chestnut Rose SP. Crimson Wish Chestnut Rose, however you want to say her name. Gives you that barrier, which is more than the HP you lose. You gain that HP back, and if you have any HP healing increase, then you just heal more than you lost. Very, very good. The ability is a little slow, but everything else with it is here, especially the area of effect. Winter Cherry, she might pretty soon start making her way down to the A tier in PvP. It's nice having her pseudo rigidity effect in PvE, but she is an older fairy. It is still very good, but we're getting to a point where people just burst past it, and it doesn't matter. Tranquil Balloon Flower has the cooldown and the knockup. Very, very good in PvP. This is 2A and 2B for Wind. Almond Blossom and Eldwise. Almond Blossom giving you that debuff prevention. Eldwise giving you that crit rate prevention. Almond Blossom giving you the extra dodge. And Eldwise stopping them from getting buffs. If you're able to hit them with this before something like Star Blessing, they entirely waste that ability. Minus the shield. Blue Rose, more damage, high HP. Receive less damage, low HP. If you deal damage with it, had enough star level, she heals you. Very, very good. Calamus, the point of the Calamus one-shot build on the channel. Gardenia, giving you that attack boost on the swap, as well as her skill itself is enough to be up here in the S tier. And then here we have Birds of Paradise, easily the best Earth for PvP. Multi-stun, hits about 6 times, and even if they get out of it, there's a great chance at least one of the stuns will hit. Tulip, the ability isn't really what she's here for. It's primarily the gamble passive. Stacking percentages on percentages is always a great idea. Foxglove giving you that crit attack bonus, and the punches are actually pretty quick and do a large area. Down here, A tier, we have Butterfly Orchid and Hibiscus, 1A, 1B for the A tier. Both of them do that AoE damage. One locks people so the other one can hit. One gives you a shield so you have room to heal. And this one heals you. And then based on the healing does the AoE. They are peanut butter jelly. But people are putting Butterfly Orchid with other things as either an extender, such as putting her with a stun effect like Sakura or Licorice, while Hibiscus is, if you are a high burst character, finding her way on the bench right now. Then we have Sakura. Her primary thing here is the defense down, and it is a stun. It's a delayed stun, but her thing is she's seen right now as an extender. If you do cannot move followed by cannot move, that second cannot move is a lot shorter. There's nothing in the game saying that, but it is true. We have Butterfly Orchid and Milim as great options of those two things. You can't doing them back to back will do the thing, but for a shorter amount of time than you would expect. So doing an extender as a stun effect, either the 1A, 1B in this conversation is Sakura and Licorice. They both do stuns and whatnot. If you want a slightly faster stun to extend, you generally want to do Sakura first because she does put that defense down, which is hard to come by in the holy aspect. And Licorice should be your second team's stunner because it lasts the longest amount of time. Alright, down here in the fire, we have Natsu and Anathria. They're pretty even in my opinion. It depends on what you're looking for. Natsu does the execute damage at higher HP, and Anathria does the anti-heal. They're about even, but it depends on what you're looking for. Ikoria has the anti-death, which is what she's here for. Wind, we have Camellia SP, Spring Radiance Camellia, and she has the Tornadoes knockup. It's also based on your speed, so if you have higher speed, especially with the new mount bonuses, the Tornado goes faster. But you can also set it up where if the opponent ignores knockup knockback, every time the tornado hits them and they cannot be knocked up or knocked back, they get a stack of damage increase, damage taken increase. Starts at 3% but goes higher as you level her stars. Then for Earth, we have Anathria, Earth Anathria. She's primarily at this level because of her damage output. Earth is kind of struggling for PvP goodness. We already have 3 in the S tier. That 4th one is hard to come by. Primrose does have a stun. It's a bit hard to land, and gives you that damage received decrease. Down here in the B tier, we have... I mess up the names all the time. I'm doing a bunch of them off the top of my head. Laurel, who does have the tracking. He is good enough to be up here. Some may argue he could be up here in the A tier, just because of his damage output and tracking. But a lot of people are figuring out the spacing of him. So he's becoming a lot easier to deal with. Then we have these two, which I put pretty much at the same spot here. Mistletoe and Licorice. Mistletoe says cannot dodge out of my circle. If you attempt to, even if you are immune or whatnot, you get stunned. She's a setup, especially with something like Licorice, because that AoE stun is you put these two together. Either they get stunned trying to get out of the circle, or they get stunned if they stay inside the circle. So kind of a bad situation to be put in. But she also, that circle works well with other circle type abilities like Urza, but Urza's quick enough that you don't have to worry about that, just as an example. Dahlia can really mess up a healer tank, but everyone, even as healer tanks, are using Priest as a secondary, and Priest Star Blessing will get rid of it. If they don't hold on to Star Blessing, you will mess them up though. Rose, for the silence when you cast and silence at the end, very, very powerful. Camellia does high base damage and a knockup. Balloon Flower, pull in, defense down. You can definitely mess some people up with her and Camellia SP. Pull them in, defense down. Tornado is going to mess someone up. Lavender, his main aspect here is part of the Camellia Calamus one-shot build. Sleep can also be very good in Crystal Battlefield, things like this. Daisy, made for PvE, but that reflect damage is burned, so it does ignore defense, but the damage isn't very high. Gypsophilia, she is very good actually, even in PvP, because she can like stop stuns and stuff like that. Her issue is she requires several stacks of her Starlight to do what she needs to do, but most PvP is done by that. Rimuru is not D tier primarily because some people are using it as a counter to something like Rimuru or Star Blessing to eat 1 or 2 buffs and give yourself 2 or 4 buffs, respectively. Then we have Diablo, which is more single target, which, depending on what game modes you prefer, could be better than Rose. Exoria takes current HP and then heals you max HP, but that could end up killing you in a lot of aspects against whoever you're fighting. Hyacinth only would be D tier, but it gives you that cooldown, which is so important, so it's up here in C tier. Lotus and Hydreiga, 1A, 1B, depends on what you're looking for. One has defense buff, which will be Hydreiga, as well as a silence, and Lotus is faster with a pull effect. Then we have Earth has Carnation, AoE damage over time. Each tick is a stack of a road if you have a level 5 or higher. Earth Echo, which will allow you to move faster and them take damage over time. Made for PvE, single spot damage that doesn't really matter because everyone's moving around. Made for PvE, AoE is nice, knockup is nice, really slow. Candok is Candok, and then we have Marigold, which is primarily PvE. She's confused. She has PvE because she does damage, weakness to earth increase, but also slow, which is primarily a PvP thing. She's confused of what she wants to be, which is why she's down in the D tier. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, guys.